So we have an update on COVID-19. As of last night, for the next 30 days, President Trump has quarantined most of Europe. One exception being the British Isles, save Northern Ireland, and mainland Ireland. Other news, the NBA has opted to suspend the season, especially after Rudy Gobert was tested positive for it. But honestly, while I commend the president for his quick thinking, for his quick action, two questions arise. One, Mr. President, I've been an avid supporter of you, but what are you going to do with the Asian nations? I mean, quarantine the landlocked ones, that's fine. But what about the island nations? Sri Lanka, the Philippines, Japan, Malaysia, and Indonesia, and Brunei. What are you going to do about those nations? Or even Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand. How's travel going to be banned from those for the next month? Making things worse is the sports season that's right around the corner, specifically WrestleMania weekend. If those nations get quarantined, that's going to cripple WrestleCon's revenue, and many of the promotions that are going to have events there that are having events at that weekend are going to be left scrambling to salvage their cards. Emphasis on scrambling. Especially with WrestleMania now in the hands of the Council of the City of Tampa and not in the WWE's hands, but that's something for another time. And I just realized something real meta last night. With this new virus, we're living in a Captain Planet episode. For those who don't get the reference, the picture I'm trying to paint. Go back 30 or so years. Go back to around 30 years ago. What was 30 to 35 years ago? Or so. Though Grand Captain Planet came on in the early 90s, but my point is, what was the major virus scare that was sweeping the nation, if not the world at the time? It was as far as I know, I don't have COVID-19. I don't go out that much before anyone asks. Anyway, I'm actually one of the healthiest people in my household. It's probably just the dust buildup in here. Just dust buildup, probably. Anyway, there was this one episode where they addressed the HIV virus. Other name, autoimmune deficiency syndrome, aka AIDS. And everyone got up in arms. Not for the episode itself, but I mean the whole scare over the HIV virus. Where anyone who tested positive was basically viewed as a pariah. A social pariah. If I remember that episode correctly. And this kid, who was a top basketball star in the episode of this school, ended up testing positive for the virus. Just because someone tests positive, it doesn't mean they actually have it. I mean, Tom Hanks and his wife have tested positive for it. Several political government officials have tested positive for it. And the recently aforementioned Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz tested positive for it, the lattermost of which led to a mass quarantine and shutdown of the NBA. If this is one of the signs to the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which seal was that again? From Revelation 6. Here it is. I heard one of the four. When the Lamb broke the fourth seal, I heard the fourth living being say, "Come," and saw a horse whose color was pale green, and its rider's name was Death, and his companion was the grave. Wherever he went, hell followed. These two were given authority over a quarter of the earth to kill with the sword, famine, and disease and wild animals. Revelation 6, 7, and 8. If we truly are in the end times, this virus is a portion of the fourth horseman of the apocalypse. I'm at least happy the baseball season's not been fully quarantined. In baseball, pro baseball and hockey have not been quarantined. Yet. We have been put on suspension. And over this virus. Yet. That said, Ed, the twofold question comes up. One, what's the president going to do about the Asian nations who have come down with the virus? And two, does anyone feel like we're living in a Captain Planet episode? Oh, nowadays? With all these rumors of how the virus could spread, and how everyone is scared to just leave their homes these days. Supermarket shelves are running out of bottled water, toilet paper, disinfectant, soaps, wipes, you name it, they're running out of it. Should we blame the president for this? No. I think we all know who's to blame for this. And let me just say this to anyone who does leave a comment in this video, don't start asking me what's the name of the group we should blame for causing such a mass panic. Not for spreading the virus, but I mean just going overboard with by calling calling for a global pandemic and forcing the world into a state of shutdown. Now, because I'm just gonna say who's to blame. And if you keep going through with this daisy chain in the comments, I'm not gonna bother, because then we're just devolving into an Abbott and Costello bit where I'm constantly replying with who. And I'm just basically telling you who, as in the World Health Organization, is to blame for causing this mass panic. And You people are allowing your fear to get the better of you and override your common sense. I mean, let's face it. Trump even signaled out the European Union for doing two things involving corona spread: Jack and shit. And Jack left town, which means the landlocked nations in Europe are basically left with nothing but shit they have to deal with from their government and officials. And again, why call for a pandemic? Of almost 130,000 cases that have been confirmed, we only have around 5,000 deaths, and nearly 70,000 have recovered. That's over 53% of the populace that has been confirmed globally to have been infected that have recovered or have been cured by their own merits. That's all I have to say about this. Leave a comment in the video, and do not start doing the daisy chain as I requested. If asking me who's to blame. I already told you that who is to blame. I mean, the name of the organization to blame is WHO. Alright? I know, the joke's not funny if I have to explain. I mean, I take the mood out of the joke if I have to explain it. I mean, I take all the humor out of the joke if I have to explain it. But this is serious, alright? Leave a comment outside of what I'm telling you to do, saying, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye, good night, bang.